Hey, Barrett Wilson here for Guitar Tricks. Thanks for joining me. So right there, I was just playing some big old open chords, sometimes called cowboy chords, big full shapes, lower, close to the nut of the guitar. Now, sometimes these can be a little difficult for new players. It's using a lot of fingers. So today we're going to learn some open chord variations. We're doing all major chords, and what we're going to do is try and find smaller shapes within these bigger shapes, and our goal is to only play them with 1 or 2 fingers. All right, so we're going to walk through a few major chords, and then at the end we'll put together a little practice progression. All right, but real quick, if you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, that'd be great. Also, if you'd like to learn guitar step by step, click the link in the description to sign up for a free trial to Guitar Tricks. All right, so let's get to our lesson. We're starting off with major chords today, and we're gonna run through the major chords of the caged system. So C, A, G, E, and D. Let's get right to C. Typically, we fret it this way using 3 fingers. Just to review, we've got ring finger on 3rd fret of A, middle finger on 2nd fret of D, and index on 1st fret of B. We strum this 5 strings down. Okay, now the easier version is to play 2 fingers, so let go of that ring finger and just play 2. Leave your index and middle finger down. And then even easier still, take away the middle finger and just play 1 finger C with your index. Okay, so now as we take fingers away, we have to think about strumming specific string sets. So we're gonna take away our ring finger. Now we can only strum from the D string down. Okay, so make sure and practice that. Some down strumming, some down up. Just aiming to hit those 4 strings only and trying to avoid the low E and the A string. So you're gonna have to have a much smaller sweep here. Much smaller than normal. Make sure and keep your hand nice and relaxed. And this is going to apply to the other voicings and shapes as well. Okay, same thing. If you remove the middle finger and play that 1 finger C, now you're only playing G through high E. So 3 strings. So you really got to watch out there. Okay, next chord, we're talking about the A chord. Typically we fret this with 3 fingers. Today, we're just going to use 1 finger. So I want you to take your index finger, lay it across the 2nd fret of D, G, and B. Okay? So we're using a little mini bar here, barring this finger across that 1 fret. Now you can also play open A. So with our strumming, we're aiming for A, D, G, and B. Now, here is where I want to bring up some fret hand muting. So as we're barring this shape, we want to lift up just enough so that we're muting the high E string. We don't want it to come through just enough so it's muted. Okay? So there's a little fret hand muting there. Practice your downs, your down ups. Now, as you're strumming this chord, the low E string might ring out. So if you can, reach that thumb around and also mute that low E string. So that fret hand muting just acts as a safety system, essentially, so that your strumming can dig in a little bit more. But we still need to watch it and have a smaller sweep as much as we can. All right, onward to the G chord. Now with G, there's lots of different ways to fret the G chord. I would love it if you would leave me a comment. Let me know your favorite way of playing G chord. I'm going to show you a simple one here. I'm going to put my ring finger on the 3rd fret of high E. And we'll strum D, G, B, and high E. All those same strings. Again, we want to avoid low E and the A string. There's not a great way to mute these other than the low E. You totally could with your thumb. You need to avoid that A string if you can. Okay, next we have an E chord. Now Now, normally we fret this with 3 fingers. I'm going to show you a 2-finger version. Take your middle finger to the 2nd fret of the D string. That's the root, that's E. We'll take index to the 1st fret of the G string. Strum those same strings, D down. Now with this shape, you can mute the A string with your middle finger just a little bit. If you kind of move it over, sort of pivot it, you can mute it that way. And again, your thumb can grab the low E, just as a safety. All right, so that's your E chord. Now last chord here is D. Typically we fret it with index on the G string 2nd fret, ring finger 3rd fret of B, and then middle finger 2nd fret of high E. I remember when I was first learning this chord, it was really difficult. I would never remember the configuration. I couldn't get it right. So I recommend starting with just the power chord version. So let go of that middle finger and just play index and ring. So index 2nd fret of G, ring 3rd fret of B. Now it's just 3 strings, so you want to make sure that your sweep is really small. D, G, and B strings, avoiding A and low E. And then with your ring finger on your fret hand, you can kind of mute that high E string. All right. Okay, so that wraps up our 5 major chords from the Cage system, C, A, G, E, and D. Real quick, if you'd like to know more about open chords, click the link in the description of this video and head over to the beginner section at guitartricks.com. There is where you will find more in-depth chord lessons and other great content for learning how to play the guitar. Okay, now I want to talk about some bonus chord variations. Now these aren't open chords because they don't have any open strings, but they come up a lot, so I just wanted to mention them. The first one is the F chord. Now, there's this big ol' F shape. This is very tough for new players. There's also the small F shape. This one is a lot more manageable. Let's review it. We've got ring finger, 3rd fret of D, middle finger, 2nd fret of G, and we take our index and we do this half with this little mini bar here on the 1st fret of the B and high E strings. Now this is a lot more manageable, but an even easier way to do this is let go of the bar on the high E, just fret the B string, let go of the high E. So this is D, G, and B strings only. Okay, so I really like this one. And then also I wanted to mention for a B chord, a lot of times we play this B7. It's kind of a blues chord. It takes 4 fingers. It's very difficult, and it oftentimes doesn't work over many songs, or depending on the key you're in. So sometimes you just need a straight up B major chord. So I wanted to mention that A chord that we learned earlier with the single index bar. Now you can take this shape, we're on the 2nd fret, move it up to the 4th fret, and just play 3 strings, D, G, and B. Now this is a great way to just play a straight up B major. All right? Also, keep in mind, this is B. If you needed to play a B flat, which we might do in our practice song, all you have to do is come down 1 fret. So there's always those random chords that come up in different songs you're learning or progressions. So the F shape there and that B or B flat, those come up, and I hope those help you out. Okay, before we go, I want to leave you with a practice progression that you can play at home when you're practicing. Here's how it goes. It's 4 chords. We're going to play C, so you can use that 2-finger or 1-finger version. I'm going to use the 2-finger version here. And then from here, we're going to go to F. So you can actually leave that index finger down and bring your middle and ring down. And then from here, we go to G. Lift up on everything, but slowly move that ring finger over to the 3rd fret of the high E. There's your G. And then last chord, we have a wild card chord here, is that B flat. I want you to put your index on the 3rd fret, that little bar, and we've got a B flat there. Okay, let's try this real quick with some whole notes, all right? Starting on C, I'll count us in. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 to F. 1, 2, 3 to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. B flat. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now from here we could even add a strum. So let's add a little down, down, up, down. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, we'll do that all the way through. Let's do it twice. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down. To F. Down, down, down. To G. Down, down, down. B flat. One more time on C. F. G. B flat. Let's end on C right here. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I hope these open chord variations help you out a lot with your songs and your progressions, making it a little easier for you. Please comment if you have any questions. We'll see you soon and enjoy your playing.